The Moongazer Serpent unleashed its incomparable spell in the northern region for the first time. Driven by overwhelming rage, it shattered the black shells sealing its body, sending countless razor-sharp fragments flying in every direction with devastating force. Many cultivators failed to dodge in time and were struck by the fragments, coughing blood before their bodies collapsed completely, leaving not even their origin souls behind. Others were sliced in half by the fragment edges, filling the battlefield with blood mist. As silence fell over the battlefield, an ancient roar echoed from within the shattered shell. The roar seemed to transcend time itself, carrying a pressure infinitely close to that of an ancient god. At that moment, an enormous ancient god finger burst forth from the shell. Its power was indescribable, as though it could collapse the entire world with a single strike. And no force seemed capable of resisting it. The refined corpse pursuing Wong Lin froze for an instant before the finger struck it directly. The chains binding its body shattered. Black blood exploded from its back under the overwhelming impact. Its purple skin peeled away. Its flesh and bones disintegrated. And the refined corpse exploded completely within only a few breaths. Wong Lin had already retreated before the attack arrived. As he watched, he seemed to see the phantom of a full-grown ancient god standing behind the finger, extending an enormous arm and pushing it forward with endless destructive power. Closely following the ancient god finger, the Moongazer Serpent charged out with countless tentacles spread across the sky while thick mist poured from its body. When Wong Lin's eyes met the Serpent's, he immediately sensed something unusual. Unlike before, the Moongazer Serpent's eyes were perfectly clear and intelligent, making Wong Lin feel as though it was consciously observing him in return. The Moongazer Serpent's successful escape instantly raised all heaven's morale. The ancient god finger continued sweeping across the battlefield at incredible speed, and every cultivator standing in its path exploded before it even reached them. Witnessing the countless deaths, Wong Lin realized this war far exceeded every battle he had ever experienced. Compared to this conflict between the two star systems, even the great war between planet Suzaku and the Forsaken Immortal clan was insignificant. The ancient god finger continued advancing directly toward Black Fiend Devil Saint. Facing certain death, Black Fiend Devil Saint immediately spat out black mist that transformed into a giant black crane carrying a black leaf. The leaf rapidly expanded into a barrier over 10,000 feet tall. But the ancient god finger shattered it instantly, reducing it to strands of black gas. Seriously injured, Black Fiend Devil Saint coughed blood before producing a strange wooden carving depicting a figure surrounded by plants. He threw it without hesitation. The carving emitted devouring black light as the surrounding plants came alive. 5 enormous black flowers emerged from the void, one releasing freezing cold energy while the remaining 4 spewed dense black gas. The wooden carving itself awakened, opened its arms, rushed into the black gas, and clung directly onto the ancient god finger. Countless black lines spread across the finger in an attempt to suppress its power. Watching from afar, Wong Lin sneered, believing such methods could never stop the ancient god finger. If it could be restrained so easily, all heaven would never have devoted such tremendous effort to bringing the Moongazer Serpent onto the battlefield. In Wong Lin's eyes, the Moongazer Serpent was the greatest weapon all heaven had prepared for this war. At the same time, his attention shifted toward the enormous heaven-piercing wood in the distance. Having stood upon it for so long, he believed it possessed hidden abilities beyond simply charging through space. Throughout the battle, Wong Lin carefully observed every spell, treasure, and cultivation technique displayed by the experts. The war broadened his horizons tremendously, allowing him to witness the true power of Nirvana Cleanser and Nirvana Shatterer cultivators. Since his cultivation time was far shorter than those ancient experts, this battlefield became an irreplaceable opportunity to absorb invaluable knowledge. As Black Fiend Devil Saint struggled desperately to block the ancient god finger, the Alliance's remaining 10 refined corpses roared and charged into battle, with the 2 silver corpses leading the attack. Even so, all of them combined remained insignificant before the overwhelming might of the ancient god finger. The Moongazer Serpent suddenly released another earth-shaking roar that caused space itself to tremble, forcing weaker cultivators to flee or suffer severe injuries. Unlike everyone else, Wong Lin heard a hidden meaning within the roar. His expression immediately changed. Without hesitation, he deployed countless restrictions before himself, summoned the ancient god furnace to protect his body, and rapidly retreated. The instant Wong Lin withdrew, the Moongazer Serpent's roar caused the ancient god finger that Black Fiend Devil Saint and the refined corpses were resisting to explode violently. The explosion was impossible to describe. Everything within 5,000 kilometers was ripped apart as enormous spatial cracks swallowed countless screaming cultivators into the void. Panic spread throughout both armies as everyone desperately fled, regretting only that they could not escape faster. Amid the catastrophic explosion, the Moongazer Serpent remained completely unharmed. It charged through the battlefield while its countless tentacles swept across the area, mercilessly massacring Alliance cultivators. Black Fiend Devil Saint, standing at the center of the explosion, suffered catastrophic injuries. He coughed blood continuously, his body nearly collapsing completely, and fled in utter terror. Throughout his tens of thousands of years of cultivation, he had never encountered such an overwhelmingly powerful beast, and his composure completely disappeared. The dozen refined corpses fared even worse. Aside from the 2 silver corpses, all the remaining refined corpses exploded into flesh and blood before being swallowed by the spatial void. Even the 2 silver corpses were blasted backward, their chains shattered as black blood poured from their mouths. However, the beautiful female silver corpse suddenly abandoned the battlefield and charged directly toward Wong Lin. Seeing both the female corpse and the half-destroyed wooden carving, Wong Lin's eyes shone brightly. Rather than fearing them, he immediately regarded both as priceless treasures and firmly declared that such treasures should belong to him. After the ancient god finger exploded, Wong Lin, who had already anticipated the danger, retreated in advance and activated the ancient god furnace, avoiding most of the impact. He immediately noticed the female silver corpse that had been thrown toward him. From the moment he first saw the refined corpse, he had intended to seize it. Since the male silver corpse had been severely damaged, he targeted the female corpse instead, whose condition was much better, believing that taking a treasure during such a chaotic battlefield would attract no criticism. He rushed toward it. However, Wong Lin was not the only one with that idea. 7 cultivators from both the Allheaven and the Cultivation Alliance simultaneously charged toward the female corpse. Although Wong Lin was the fastest, he suddenly slowed after sensing something unusual. An Allheaven cultivator reached the corpse first, but an Alliance cultivator immediately attacked him with sword energy instead of taking the corpse. As the two fought, another cultivator grabbed the female corpse's arm, only to suddenly scream as his body rapidly shrank into a pool of blood that was completely absorbed by the corpse. The terrifying scene forced the nearby cultivators to hesitate, but after a brief pause, Wong Lin and 2 others rushed forward. Wong Lin activated the ancient god furnace and instantly exchanged positions with an Allheaven cultivator. Recognizing Wong Lin as Thunder Celestial Shu Mu, the displaced cultivator gave up competing for the corpse and searched for other treasures. The 2 cultivators closest to the corpse simultaneously reached out to seize it, but they instantly suffered the same fate as the previous victim. Their bodies withered into blood that was absorbed by the female corpse, forming a small red light between her eyebrows. At that moment, an Alliance cultivator in a python robe approached while pretending to grab the corpse, though he was actually preparing to attack it with a hidden spell. Wong Lin arrived almost simultaneously, pointing his fingers like a sword and ordering him to move aside. The Alliance cultivator mocked Wong Lin for coveting the corpse's beauty and continued charging. Wong Lin calmly cast the spell, Stop, freezing the cultivator in place as though bound by countless invisible threads. Without hesitation, Wong Lin reached the corpse. Instead of grabbing it immediately, he infused origin energy, ancient god power, and the yin-yang fish into the red light between the corpse's eyebrows. The red light instantly dispersed, interrupting the strange process. Wong Lin then seized the female corpse and, while passing the immobilized Alliance cultivator, kicked him in the chest, severely injuring him and forcing him to retreat. Holding the corpse, Wong Lin confirmed his earlier suspicion. He had intentionally slowed down because he sensed something abnormal, and the deaths of several cultivators proved his judgment correct. Ordinarily, such danger would have made him abandon the corpse, but after absorbing the blood essence of 3 cultivators, the corpse underwent a subtle transformation that convinced him it was worth obtaining. As he retreated, Wong Lin continuously placed restrictions on the corpse, injected a mouthful of essence origin energy into it, sealed it inside his storage bag, and then charged into the collapsing space. The collapsing battlefield formed a gigantic vortex whose powerful suction attempted to devour everything. Only the Moongazer Serpent ignored the force and continued slaughtering endlessly. Several powerful Alliance experts surrounded the Serpent to stop its advance, including the Cloud Dragon Demon Saint. Blood God and the other All-Heaven experts also surrounded the Serpent, engaging the Alliance forces in fierce combat, while numerous blood figures launched an overwhelming assault against the Alliance. The clash between Master Flamespark and Wudo Chan shook the heavens and earth. Violent fluctuations erupted continuously from the black mist surrounding their battle, forcing even Blood God and the other experts to avoid the shockwaves. In the distance, the woman in blue calmly watched the battlefield without any sign of panic. Beside her stood the golden corpse with an expressionless face while 5 yellow talismans rotated above its head, constantly releasing lightning to keep it sealed. She raised her hand and respectfully invited the Zan Palace's Grand Elder. Esteemed Zan Bao. A laugh echoed across the starry sky. Although it contained little visible cultivation, every treasure on the battlefield trembled as though trying to leave its master. Black Fiend Devil Saint immediately relaxed in relief, and Cloud Dragon Demon Saint also stopped fighting and retreated. They knew that among the Alliance's so-called 4 saints, only Xianxia was a true saint. The Alliance's 4 saints were divided into Moon, Cloud, Xian, and Yao, with Xianxia serving as the Xian saint. Each saint commanded 3 subordinates, making up the complete 4 saints organization. For this battle, however, the Cultivation Alliance had only dispatched the Xian saint and his 3 subordinates. Esteemed Zan Bao possessed an extraordinarily high status within Zan Palace, but his true prestige came from being one of the mysterious Alliance elders who possessed the authority to decide every major matter within the Cultivation Alliance. No one outside the Elder Group knew how many members it contained, but every elder possessed heaven-defying strength. The Elder Group held the Alliance's greatest authority and deepest secrets, making its members the true rulers of the Cultivation Alliance. All-Seer had once enjoyed immense respect because he was also a member of this Elder Group. Even the Cultivation Alliance had personally presented gifts during his birthday celebration. Although certain events later reduced his status and caused him to withdraw from most elder meetings, he nevertheless remained one of the elders. If not for his reclusive nature, even figures such as Ling Tianao would never have risen, as All-Seer possessed the power to eliminate them effortlessly. Neither Xianxia nor Wudo Chan, despite their tremendous strength, qualified to become members of the Elder Group. Before esteemed Zan Bao, both were insignificant. No one knew the exact qualifications required to join the Elder Group, though many believed overwhelming cultivation alone was insufficient. Esteemed Zan Bao appeared dressed in white, with a slender figure and the bearing of an immortal. His bright eyes contained unfathomable depth capable of drawing anyone who looked into them into endless fascination. Holding a whisk in his hand, he appeared beside the woman in blue. She respectfully greeted him as her uncle master. Looking toward the battlefield, Zan Bao smiled and remarked that her master had deliberately entrusted her with command of the battle and chosen this battlefield because such an opportunity was a rare stroke of fortune. He appeared completely unconcerned by the fierce war, but when his gaze landed on the Moongazer Serpent, his pupils contracted slightly and he revealed a meaningful smile. Esteemed Zan Bao revealed that the ancient records of the Rain Celestial Realm were true. He waved his hand and summoned the Rain Celestial Guards. A 1.000-foot crack opened in space, releasing an overwhelming pressure as 4 golden armored celestial guards emerged one after another. They radiated dazzling golden light and resembled heavenly soldiers. Wong Lin immediately recognized them as celestial guards refined using Celestial Emperor Qing Lin's secret method. Just like Ta Shan, he knew celestial guards were divided into gold, silver, copper, and iron ranks, and all 4 were gold rank guards. Realizing how formidable Zan Bao was, Wong Lin immediately retreated toward the edge of the battlefield. Zan Bao ordered the 4 golden celestial guards to attack the Moongazer Serpent. The serpent roared and lashed out with its tentacles while Blood God and the others rushed forward to intercept them. Blood God cast a spell that summoned a vast sea of blood. But it only delayed the celestial guards briefly before they split apart and surrounded the Moongazer Serpent together with the All-Heaven cultivators. Zan Bao then opened another spatial crack and released 9 completely black butterflies. Unlike Wong Lin's colorful butterfly formed from the god-slaying war chariot, these butterflies were entirely black and represented another extreme of power. Their wings created a violent storm as they danced through space. Wong Lin was shocked because he immediately recognized their connection to the god-slaying war chariot. Seeing Zhan Bao possess both celestial guards and butterfly treasures similar to his own filled him with disbelief. Even greater than anything Qing Shui or the mysterious cultivator who had stopped Qing Shui and Blood God had caused. Realizing he could no longer influence the main battle, Wong Lin decided to take advantage of the chaos by collecting treasures from the battlefield. He targeted the half-destroyed wooden carving that Black Fiend Devil Saint had used earlier, as it still emitted powerful pressure despite being damaged. Numerous cultivators from both sides were already fighting over it. As Wong Lin approached, nearby Alliance cultivators immediately attacked him while the All-Heaven cultivators hesitated. Wong Lin calmly cast a wind spell and combined it with a powerful Ancient God punch. The fusion of spell power and Ancient God strength created a mysterious force that shook the bodies and origin souls of the Alliance cultivators, forcing them to retreat instinctively as they sensed certain death if they remained. Wong Lin then summoned the Ancient God Furnace and instantly switched positions with one of the Alliance cultivators, appearing beside the wooden carving. Just as he reached for it, a tyrannical sword energy struck from the void. Wong Lin immediately recognized it as Ling Tianou's sword energy. A cold voice declared that the treasure belonged to Chen Long of the Dao Lu sword sect. Ignoring the warning, Wong Lin seized the wooden carving and spat out the 18 Hell Celestial sealing stamp. The seal blocked the sword energy completely without moving. After retrieving the seal, Wong Lin coldly mocked Chen Long as an old acquaintance who had barely escaped with his soul before and still dared to compete for treasure. Chen Long was initially unable to recognize Wong Lin amid the battlefield. But after hearing those words, he finally realized his identity. Filled with disbelief, he could only shout in shock as Wong Lin disappeared before any fight could continue. Wong Lin continued moving throughout the battlefield, collecting magic treasures left behind by fallen cultivators while keeping his divine sense fixed on the Moongazer Serpent. He patiently waited for the Alliance to weaken the Serpent so he could seize the inheritance hidden within it. During this time, he also remained wary of the mysterious woman in blue, whose strange attitude toward him continued to puzzle him. Meanwhile, the 4 golden celestial guards completed a golden formation that imprisoned the Moongazer Serpent. Blood God and his allies fought fiercely inside the formation while the 9 black butterflies beat their wings to create a massive storm vortex centered on the serpent. The trapped Moongazer Serpent, enraged after being imprisoned again, opened its mouth and roared, unleashing an Ancient God spell through the ancient language of the ancient gods. Seeing this, Zhan Bao laughed and pointed forward. The 9 butterflies increased the speed of their wings, producing countless black threads that intertwined into a sealing net around the Moongazer Serpent. At the same time, the 4 golden celestial guards roared, expanded into 1.000-foot giants, and launched a coordinated assault. Smiling calmly, Zhan Bao opened yet another spatial crack. Green gas poured out, accompanied by an aura so terrifying that every cultivator within 5.000 kilometers felt their minds tremble. Wong Lin looked closely and saw an enormous green arrow emerge. The arrow was over 300 feet long, 7 feet wide, had a 6-edged arrowhead, purple feathers at its tail, and dark red bloodstains covering it. The bloodstains alone shocked every cultivator present. Blood God and his companions immediately changed expressions, while even Master Flamespark, who was fighting Wudo Chan elsewhere, trembled when he saw the weapon and recognized it as the pseudo-Nirvana Void Arrow. At the height of the battle, the Moongazer Serpent roared in the ancient god language, causing a giant spatial crack to race toward esteemed Zhan Bao. As space collapsed around him, Zhan Bao calmly pointed at the 300-foot arrow and activated the pseudo-Nirvana Void Arrow. Master Flamespark immediately recognized the legendary treasure, rumored to have existed since the celestial realm, with an unknown origin and a mysterious bloodstain that granted extraordinary power. Having long prepared countermeasures against every major alliance treasure, Master Flamespark remained confident that even the pseudo-Nirvana Void Arrow would not surpass the strength of the Moongazer Serpent. At Zhan Bao's command, the giant arrow shot forward toward the Moongazer Serpent. Sensing immense danger, the beast roared and condensed another ancient god finger from countless specks of light, sending it directly against the incoming arrow. Simultaneously, the Moongazer Serpent unleashed hundreds of thousands of smaller Moongazer Serpents of various sizes. transforming the battlefield from a conflict between All Heaven and the Alliance into a battle between the Alliance and the Moongazer Serpent itself. The smaller serpents spread across the battlefield, slaughtering Alliance cultivators, while some All Heaven cultivators were also caught in the chaos. Wong Lin avoided a 30.000-foot serpent pursuing him. Knowing that the purpose of the smaller serpents was to gather enough ancient god power to create the strongest possible ancient god finger, the pseudo-nirvana void arrow collided with the newly formed ancient god finger, producing a thunderous explosion that echoed throughout the Alliance's northern region. The ancient aura contained within the arrow's dark red bloodstain pierced straight through the ancient god finger and continued toward the Moongazer Serpent. Witnessing this, Wong Lin was stunned. For the first time, the Moongazer Serpent hesitated before letting out another roar. Every smaller Moongazer Serpent immediately answered its mother's call, and together hundreds of thousands of roars filled the battlefield. Ancient god fingers rapidly formed everywhere until the entire region overflowed with ancient god aura. Wong Lin greedily absorbed this aura, feeling his ancient god body strengthen dramatically as the illusory fourth ancient god star between his eyebrows became increasingly solid. Overjoyed, he realized genuine ancient god aura had appeared in the battlefield. The countless ancient god fingers eventually fused into an almost tangible giant ancient god finger covered with clear cracks. Even esteemed Zan Bao's expression became serious as he realized this Moongazer Serpent differed greatly from the descriptions in ancient records. Nevertheless, he remained completely confident in the pseudo-nirvana void arrow. He believed that after capturing and refining the Moongazer Serpent, he could combine it with the arrow and, after tens of thousands of years of preparation, create a rank -8 pseudo-nirvana void treasure, greatly increasing his standing among the elders and giving him the means to compete with Zhang Xuanzi. The pseudo-nirvana void arrow slammed into the newly reformed ancient god finger, while the Moongazer Serpent itself charged behind the finger. At the instant of impact, the ancient god finger unexpectedly shattered again. The resulting explosion shook the entire northern region, causing every nearby cultivator, including Wong Lin, to cough blood. Most cultivators were instantly crushed into flesh and blood by the shockwave, while Blood God and the others fled in terror. Only the 4 golden celestial guards and the 9 black butterflies remained attached to the Moongazer Serpent, continuing to generate storms around it. More than half of the smaller Moongazer Serpents also exploded, scattering blue blood throughout space. Wong Lin was deeply shaken, as this was the first time he had ever witnessed Moongazer Serpents being destroyed. These creatures, which normally lived within ancient gods and possessed unimaginable toughness, had been shattered by the pseudo-nirvana void arrow, leaving him shocked by the treasure's terrifying power. Although the ancient god finger and countless smaller Moongazer Serpents were destroyed, the giant 300-foot pseudo-nirvana void arrow also cracked under the overwhelming impact and shattered piece by piece. Zan Bao was not concerned, as this outcome remained within his expectations. Declaring that the Moongazer Serpent already belonged to him, he advanced as a shadow emerged from the broken arrow. The shadow revealed itself to be the true pseudo-nirvana void arrow. Only 3 inches long but identical in appearance to the giant arrow except for its bright scarlet bloodstain. The true arrow shot forward with unimaginable speed and instantly pierced the space between the Moongazer Serpent's eyes. Upon entering its body, the arrow unleashed overwhelming destructive force, shaking the stars themselves. For the first time, the enormous Moongazer Serpent trembled and retreated. A black vortex formed between its eyes before collapsing violently as blue blood erupted outward. The arrow drilled deeper into the beast with every rotation, causing repeated collapses inside its body. The Moongazer Serpent let out a miserable scream that echoed across the starry sky. Hearing the cry filled Wong Lin with unbearable pain, forcing him to retreat even farther. This was the first time the Moongazer Serpent had suffered such severe injuries. As its screams echoed, every remaining smaller Moongazer Serpent collapsed and died. With blood-red eyes, the Moongazer Serpent entered a state of unprecedented fury. The arrow now threatened its very survival, provoking greater rage than it had experienced in tens of thousands of years. At the peak of its anger, 7 faint ancient god stars appeared before it. As they rotated, one of the stars suddenly exploded beneath the beast's roar. Wong Lin immediately recognized it as a shattered ancient god star. The explosion released an incomparably powerful force from within the Moongazer Serpent. instantly tearing apart the vortex between its eyes and forcibly ejecting the pseudo-nirvana void arrow from its body. Witnessing this, esteemed Zan Bao's expression changed drastically. According to ancient records, an ordinary Moongazer serpent should never have survived the attack of a pseudo-nirvana void treasure. Even though this one was exceptionally powerful, it should have been fatally wounded. Master Flamespark, however, sneered. He revealed that the senior who had sent the Moongazer serpent into the alliance intended only to enrage it. Because the angrier it became, the greater the devastation it would unleash. After using the power of its shattered ancient god star to force out the arrow, the Moongazer serpent was overwhelmed by agony. Nearly losing all reason, its eyes burned crimson, and only a single thought remained in its mind: to kill endlessly as it released another earth-shaking roar. As the Moongazer serpent roared, all of its countless tentacles detached from its body, gathered together, and formed a colossal 100.000-foot arm resembling the arm of an ancient god. The serpent's ordinary anger was comparable to an ancient god's finger, but its ultimate fury manifested as the complete arm of an ancient god. The gigantic fist punched directly at the pseudo-nirvana void arrow, giving Wong Lin the illusion of witnessing ancient gods battling the heavens in primordial times. Shattering planets, space, and all enemies, the punch struck the arrow, instantly destroying the pseudo-nirvana void treasure. Esteemed Zan Bao coughed up blood and immediately retreated. At that moment, an icy aura filled the starry sky as a bolt of red lightning containing the power of the G realm struck Zan Bao while he was distracted by the destruction of his treasure. The lightning entered his body, causing him to cough blood and lose focus. Qing Shui then appeared dressed in white with a calm expression. His right eye flashed red as multiple bolts of G-realm lightning shot toward Zan Bao. Zan Bao's body exploded with blood as he retreated, but the red lightning relentlessly pursued him. Qing Shui formed a seal, summoning 7 black dragons from Black Wind. The dragons roared and breathed freezing air capable of extinguishing all life as they attacked Zan Bao. Qing Shui revealed that he had long been present on the battlefield and only considered Zan Bao worthy of his intervention. Shocked, Zan Bao recognized Qing Shui and exclaimed that he had not died. With his retreat blocked by the 7 black dragons, Zan Bao summoned the 9 black butterflies surrounding the Moongazer serpent. He commanded them to merge into one. The 9 butterflies fused into a single butterfly radiating 4-colored light. As it flapped its wings, 4-colored powder spread and formed a protective vortex around Zan Bao. Blocking the black dragons, Qing Shui declared that if the treasure had been created by Zan Bao's senior brother, esteemed Tian Bao, he would have been cautious. But Zan Bao was not qualified. Qing Shui then cast Call the Wind and summoned the rain, creating nearly 1,000,000 raindrops that bombarded the 4-colored barrier. Zan Bao admitted his hidden identity was meaningless before Qing Shui. He revealed himself as a celestial from the Rain celestial realm and the junior brother of esteemed Tian Bao, the creator of the god-slaying war chariot. Refusing to be cornered, he unsealed the celestial origin he had concealed for countless years, flooding the battlefield with celestial spiritual energy that recreated the feeling of the celestial realm. Zan Bao pointed at the 4-colored butterfly, causing one wing to fall off and transform into 4-colored vortexes. He invoked the law of Nirvana Void, causing the vortexes to explode into 4-colored powder. The powder erased Qing Shui's Call the Wind and summoned the rain completely, leaving no trace of the spells. Without hesitation, Zan Bao sacrificed the butterfly's remaining wing. As the butterfly disappeared, the wing transformed and restored all the spells that had been erased, including Qing Shui's Call the Wind and Summon the Rain. However, they now belonged to Zan Bao. He redirected the spells, sending part to restrain the Moongazer serpent and part to attack Qing Shui while using the opportunity to flee. Even so, the G-realm lightning continued chasing him relentlessly. Zan Bao bitterly regretted losing his only pseudo-nirvana void treasure, realizing the Moongazer serpent was far stronger than described in ancient records. He knew the loss would greatly reduce his standing among the Alliance elders and was alarmed to encounter Qing Shui alive after so many years. His only remaining goal was to escape. Watching everything unfold, Wong Lin's heart pounded as he completely memorized the hand seals Zan Bao had used. He realized Zan Bao was esteemed Tian Bao's junior brother and that the 4-colored butterfly was his own creation. Though weaker than Tian Bao's version, Wong Lin resolved to understand those seals. Chang Shui ignored the redirected call the wind and summoned the rain. Reaching into the void, he gathered countless crystal-like specks and scattered them. Casting magic arsenal, countless figures materialized, forming thousands of powerful soldiers that charged against the returning spells. Seeing this, Zhan Bao sighed as he recognized many of the summoned figures as old acquaintances. He then declared he would demonstrate what he had learned about the true power of magic treasures. He explained that every treasure possessed a sliver of source origin energy and that after studying it for tens of thousands of years, he had grasped its essence. Forming different seals with each hand, Zhan Bao released invisible ripples that spread across tens of thousands of kilometers. Every treasure belonging to the surviving cultivators trembled, severed its connection with its owner, and flew toward him. The treasures left behind by dead cultivators also gathered around him. It was as though all magic treasures acknowledged Zhan Bao as their master. The most shocking effect came when every cultivator's bag of holding was affected. Since they too were considered treasures, the bags flew into the air, opened on their own, and all the treasures inside poured out toward Zhan Bao. Wong Lin's bag behaved the same way. He grabbed it immediately, but a mysterious force burned through his hand and threatened to destroy his origin soul if he refused to release it. Many nearby cultivators also tried to hold onto their bags but were forced to let go. Unwilling to lose the priceless treasures inside his bag, Wong Lin opened his third eye without hesitation. The red light removed the sliver of source origin energy controlling his bag and dispelled the mysterious force. Although his face turned pale from the effort, Wong Lin finally secured his bag of holding. Esteemed Zhan Bao gathered countless treasures around himself and sacrificed them one after another, extracting streams of white gas from each destroyed treasure. Surrounded by the dense white gas, he unleashed the spell magic power Nirvana Void, causing the white gas to collide head-on with Chang Shui's magic arsenal. The violent clash produced enormous explosions that further destabilized space, enlarging the already 5.000 kilometer wide spatial vortex. Many cultivators failed to escape in time and were swallowed by the void, where survival was almost impossible. Although space continued collapsing violently, the Moongazer Serpent remained unaffected, filled with rage after being wounded and losing countless smaller Moongazer Serpents. It ignored everything else. The ancient god arm briefly hesitated upon Chang Shui's arrival, but once esteemed Zhan Bao cast his spell, it resumed its attack. At that moment, Master Flamespark broke free from Wudo Chan. Forming hand seals, he summoned dozens of celestial fragments that created a massive vortex filled with celestial spiritual energy and launched it toward esteemed Zhan Bao while declaring that he would assist Celestial Lord Chang Shui. Wudo Chan immediately pursued, intending to help esteemed Zhan Bao survive. Esteemed Zhan Bao realized he had entered the greatest crisis of his life since the collapse of the celestial realm. Chang Shui blocked his front. The Moongazer Serpent attacked from behind, and Master Flamespark descended from above, leaving him no avenue of escape. He unleashed all of his celestial origin energy to create countless defensive barriers. Believing that surviving this assault would allow him to live, the ancient god arm struck first, instantly shattering every celestial origin barrier. Chang Shui followed with several bolts of red lightning that forced esteemed Zhan Bao to cough up blood. Finally, Master Flamespark's celestial fragments struck, destroying esteemed Zhan Bao's physical body. His origin soul emerged protected by a golden robe that continuously absorbed the impacts until it finally shattered, leaving the origin soul on the verge of collapse. The battle further expanded the spatial destruction to over 10,000 kilometers. Trapping countless cultivators, Wong Lin protected himself with the ancient god furnace while constantly shifting positions. But he never took his eyes off the Moongazer Serpent, waiting for the perfect opportunity. Meanwhile, the woman in blue remained unharmed inside the rotating lotus, accompanied by the golden corpse. She sighed while looking at Wong Lin, wondering whether her lord would still recognize her the next time they met. After the lotus absorbed all the death aura from the battlefield, she raised her hand toward the golden corpse and uttered, "Release seal." The words transformed into two seals that entered the golden corpse. The corpse trembled. The 5 talismans on its head stopped rotating. Its eyes shone brightly, and a dragon's roar erupted from its mouth. Its body rapidly expanded and transformed into a real flesh and blood golden dragon. After one last glance toward Wong Lin, the woman gradually faded away and disappeared. The The golden dragon charged into the battlefield with the 5 yellow talismans still suppressing it. Upon entering, an ancient voice echoed, "Poison flame." One talisman ignited, surrounding the dragon with an ocean of poisonous flames of unimaginable power. The dragon wrapped the poison around esteemed Zan Bao's nearly dissipating origin soul and attempted to escape with it. Before it could flee, the giant heaven-piercing wood split open and a handsome green-robed man emerged. He was Yi Muzi, the 9th elder of the ancient families of all heaven. Smiling, he instantly appeared before the dragon, summoned an illusory giant tree that crashed down upon it, and declared that he would not allow it to escape. The golden dragon retaliated by releasing black earth filled with overwhelming death aura while shouting, "Buried earth!" Yi Muzi responded by striking the void, creating thunderous storms and summoning countless giant wooden pillars behind him that formed an enormous barrier. He drove the dragon backward with the advancing wooden pillars while insisting it had no chance of escaping. As Wudo Chan moved in to help, Qing Shui intercepted him with red lightning. Master Flamespark expanded the celestial fragment vortex several times over. At the same time, the Moongazer Serpent's ancient god arm arrived, having completely lost its reason. The serpent no longer distinguished between enemies and allies. It inhaled with tremendous force, sweeping away everything before it. The ancient god arm seized the golden dragon, pulled it back, and threw it directly into the serpent's mouth. The Moongazer Serpent intended not merely to kill the dragon but to slowly absorb its life force and digest it. After swallowing the golden dragon, the Moongazer Serpent abandoned the battlefield and headed directly into the enormous spatial vortex. Entering the void beneath the collapsed space, Qing Shui immediately recognized the opportunity. Determined to obtain esteemed Zan Bao's origin soul and uncover the truth behind the celestial realms of evil, he used the serpent's suction force and rushed straight into its mouth. Wudo Chan, who had a close relationship with esteemed Zan Bao, also gritted his teeth and followed. Wong Lin's eyes lit up. Having waited for exactly this moment, he released thunder throughout his body and used its speed to pursue the Moongazer Serpent. Master Flamespark hesitated briefly, while Yi Muzi's eyes gleamed as though he had realized something, and he also entered the serpent's mouth. By then, most of the Moongazer Serpent's gigantic body had already disappeared into the spatial crack, and its mouth was closing. Wong Lin caught up, landed on the serpent's enormous body, and prepared to enter it. Seeing Wong Lin, Master Flamespark sighed and chose not to follow. Instead, he took out a fist-sized celestial fragment, threw it to Wong Lin, and explained that it would protect him. The fragment would also allow Master Flamespark to locate Wong Lin later so he could rescue both Wong Lin and Qing Shui. Since he still needed to command the war between All Heaven and the Alliance, he abandoned the pursuit. Although he assumed Wong Lin intended to save Qing Shui, he suspected the young man might also have other motives. After catching the celestial fragment, Wong Lin sensed the aura of a thunderbeast inside it along with a powerful sealed primary soul. He thanked Master Flamespark and immediately entered the Moongazer Serpent. The Moongazer Serpent then completely disappeared into the collapsing vortex. Its immense size widened the spatial collapse even further before vanishing into the void. As the collapsing space continued to rumble, Master Flamespark sighed and turned back to regroup the scattered cultivators of All Heaven.